Hi, this is Alex Cosper for SacTV and another Riverside Chat here at the American River. Today I want to talk about gold. I've talked about it before because it relates closely to this river. This river is where the gold rush began that brought people from all over the world to California. So I want to explain 3 examples of how people might not know that the price of gold can be controlled. Why am I telling you this? Well, because a lot of people seem to think that gold always goes up in value, and that's not true. That's just what some financial people might say, even as professional advisors, but it's just not true. Gold doesn't always go up in price, okay? And a lot of times it goes sideways, and that's kind of why people say it's a store of value, because you usually can't lose on gold, but sometimes you can. Sometimes the value does go down. Now, I want to give you 3 examples of how people in power, that could be government or the financial industry, can set, adjust, or affect the price of gold. 3 examples, just so you know that it's not, the price doesn't come from just the sky, and it doesn't automatically go up, okay? Number 1, the government can take gold off the market if they want. That's what President Franklin Roosevelt did in 1933. He made it illegal for anyone to own gold in its physical form, and people were told to turn in their gold in exchange for money. For over a century, the price of gold remained stable around $20. But because of the Great Depression, part of the solution was to reprice gold, at least according to FDR's New Deal. So he took gold off the market at $20.67, and then put it back on the market, but only for elites like banks and super rich people, and he raised the price to $30. And then sometime in the future he raised it one more time to $35. So there you have it. Government, this is the moral of that story. Government can set the price of gold. Government has set the price of gold. That's one way that the price of gold can be affected by elites. That means people in power, people either in government or like the banking system. Number 2, how else can the price of gold be affected by elites, their actions? Well, something that happened was they can corner the market. In other words, in 1869, there was something called Black Friday, in which this multi-millionaire guy on Wall Street was trying to corner the market on gold. The government found out about it, the Grant Administration, and decided that they would flood the market with gold. So that brought the value way down because high supply, lower demand. And so this guy who was trying to corner the market, he lost a ton of value in that scheme. Okay, another way, number 3, how else can the price of gold be affected by elites? Well, what's called the spot price of gold, that everyone quotes, like if you go get your jewelry evaluated and find out, how much is this gold jewelry worth. They're going to go with the spot price of gold as one of the factors. I know because I wrote a lot of articles for the jewelry industry, and I wrote about all kinds of different jewels, and gold was something that I regularly wrote about. So the spot price of gold is set in London by a handful of big bankers in London, and they just meet every day and they just decide, where to mark the spot price of gold, and that becomes the benchmark for that day. And then trading, goes from there. But those are 3 examples of how elites can affect the price of gold. So don't ever think that it's just magic or the heavens are what's setting the price of gold. No matter how much you pray, the value of gold is kind of going to stay where it is. I mean, it's been going up in 2024, early 2024, partly as a reaction to financial news about about inflation, and the Fed's taking their time on cutting interest rates. It seems like they're going to take some time because it wasn't that long ago. It was only a year ago they started raising rates. And I just want to point out one more thing, that the U.S. became set on the gold standard in 1900 after a long debate between gold and silver as what should be the standard that the dollars were measured against. And then in 1971, long after gold had been reinstated and put back on the market, President Nixon decided to take the U.S. off the gold standard. So, and then what came next was called the petrodollar. The petrodollar is where Saudi Arabia agreed to sell us oil for in exchange U.S. dollars. So then they took our U.S. dollars and invested it in the U.S. bonds market. So that's the petrodollar. You don't have to worry about all that, but that's how that's been driving our inflationary economy since the 70s, specifically since 1974. So getting back to gold, yes, several factors can affect the value and price of gold. The idea that it's always going to hold the same value, that's a myth. Gold can fluctuate. It can go up and down. In 2024, it's setting record highs for this era that we're in. So keep in mind that inflation also is part of the factor. So, $2,000 worth of gold today doesn't have the same value as $2,000 worth of gold like 20 years ago. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot of illusions, shiny, beautiful illusions that emit from gold, and it's important not to get too lost in the mythology. All right, I did it. I called the top on Bitcoin for March 2024. You can go back and check my March 11th video for SacTV. Called the top on Bitcoin. It's 73,000. And I said it was for March, okay? But I also said it could be a longer term top. So anyway, I might be the only person on YouTube who called the top on Bitcoin accurately. And if anyone else did, congratulations to them too. But mostly what you get on YouTube for predictions, like market predictions, are people saying, well, it could do this and it could do that. Could go up, could go down. They always forget to say, well, it could also go sideways. And that's still like losing, because the goal is to win, to make money. But anyway, I called it. Bitcoin got too high and out of control. So just remember that crypto, like gold, is not a store in value necessarily, and you're not necessarily going to make money off of it. And if you think it's going to make you rich automatically, then you have been brainwashed by media. All right, let's meet again sometime in the future for another Riverside Chat.